Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I'm your host for today, Laura Lalaki, international real estate agent. And in today's episode, we're talking about the provocative question: should church be introduced to schools and the state? Now, this debate continues to spark a lot of intense discussions. Some believe that faith-based principles can provide moral guidance and stability, while others argue for the importance of maintaining the separation of church and state. So, our panel today will dig deep into the complexities of this issue and examine the potential benefits and some of our personal thoughts and how we see it. Hello, everybody. I'm so glad you're here today. We are going to have a lively discussion, and this is one that has always been a debatable issue throughout the whole history of America. So this is not something that's new. We're just seeing a resurgence because a lot of people are feeling like we've gotten away from it. So let's start off with a video, and then we'll dive deep into the conversation.
We've all heard the phrase separation of church and state, but where did it come from and what does it mean anyway? Basically, the principle of the separation of church and state is intended to prevent the government from ruling over religion and vice versa, but it doesn't mean that religion and politics aren't intertwined. You might think the phrase comes from the Constitution. After all, the idea is right there in the First Amendment. Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. But it's actually from a letter Thomas Jefferson wrote in 1802 where he described the First Amendment as building a wall of separation between church and state. Multiple Supreme Court cases have since reaffirmed Jefferson's words in rulings concerning Americans' freedom of or from religion. So how'd we get here?
God is not done with America yet.
God bless you all, and may God protect our troops.
God is real.
Well, separation of church and state doesn't mean politicians can't talk about religion, but they haven't always talked about it this much. In Jefferson's time, it wasn't considered a great look for presidential candidates to directly campaign for votes, political parties weren't as defined, and someone's faith wasn't necessarily a deciding factor for voters. By the 1970s, the rise of issues like abortion and secularism had spurred presidential candidates to start discussing their faith more when trying to get elected. In a Boston University article, author and professor Bruce Schulman said the rise of the religious right and its boosting of Republican campaigns changed the presidential election process and made it all but required for candidates to express their religious beliefs. And the current Supreme Court is considered the most pro-religion it's been since the 1950s because of its conservative majority. Several rulings in recent decades in favor of religious organizations have made some start to worry that that wall of separation between church and state could be crumbling. Meanwhile, according to Pew Research Center, the percentage of adults in the U.S. who don't have distinct religious beliefs has been growing since 2007. And in a 2022 survey also by Pew, only 25% of U.S. adults said they think religious beliefs should be supported by government policies.
All right, I'm going to ask a quick, rapid question, and I'm going to ask each one of you this, and I'm also asking our viewership family, do you believe in the separation of church and state? Yes or no? Joe?
Yes.
Marlo?
Yes.
Minister Connie?
No.
Tiara?
I'm in the middle.
But see, now we have let everybody know that we're a panel that all has different beliefs on this. And I didn't answer, but mine is yes, I do believe there should be a separation. So I'm going to start with you, Marlo. How were your personal values shaped growing up? Did it involve religion in the church?
Well, my mom was raised in a house where she was at the church every day that it was open. So when she had her kids, she was like, I'm not going to do that to them. I won't force it upon them. If we ever wanted to go to church, we were welcome to. God was certainly present in our home. We prayed. We were taught to be good and kind and all the things. The 10 Commandments and Jesus were hanging on the wall. So it was there. And it was something that my brother and I, could engage in and learn as we went. It wasn't put upon us. It wasn't forced upon us. And I think it actually helped to strengthen both of our relationships with God because we were able to find it on our own, right? Nothing was forced upon us, which means that we also didn't rebel from religion the way that a lot of people do when they're raised in constraint and constricted situations. So I'm really happy. Religion came from our home. I went to public schools all my life. If there were prayer clubs or religious clubs, that was certainly welcome. But it never was put upon me. And like I said, I think my relationship with God is strengthened because it was not forced upon me. And I was able to come to that relationship on my own.
We're not gonna fight these microphone demons today. We talking about something important. When I grew up, my whole world was centered around church. I grew up in the country, so like picnics and Sunday service and all that stuff was centered around that. And then, of course, I had my school life. And I felt that, I got the right balance at home. I didn't necessarily need that in the school either. In fact, I found it very fascinating. In the 5th grade, I was introduced to the religion of Jewish. I had a young gentleman in my class who we got to experience what that meant with him. He was able to talk about his religion at Christmas when he came with my teacher was very open to that. And to me, I was like, wow, somebody else believes different than I do. And I found that fascinating. I didn't see that as a division. So Tiara, you're on the fence. So I would like to hear how was your upbringing with this? Was there a separation?
Yeah, well, I was introduced to church fairly early in my life. My great grandmother took me to church every Sunday. She made me join the choir. It was all the things, right? Shout out to Mildred Levy Williams. And but when I got older, it's so interesting. So that kind of persisted throughout my life, church. But when I got to college, it was like you said, I remember a philosophy class that I took, and I went to a Catholic school, the only Catholic HBCU school. And we were interested, like my teacher just kept asking, once we got there, it was like, okay, so Jesus is the Lord and Savior of your life. Got it. But why? And then why? And then why? It like every question, and he'd be like, well, who told you that? I was like, well, the church told me that. And he was like, okay, well, who taught, and who told you that? And then who told you that? And he kept challenging me. And before I knew it, I started to explore all religions. Like I literally put Christianity down and went and explored Buddhism and all the things. And I found so much in those other religions that kind of like, and it all kind of had the same um, archetype. Like there's always like this source, and then it's kind of the same. And so I just saw the similarities between all of them and what I can glean from all of them. And so, it just kind of changed the way, even though I came back to Christianity, it gave me a fuller scope. So I guess that's kind of where I learned that at a school. I learned that at a school. Even though it's a private school, I learned it at a school. So I think it's just very important to give people the option. And everybody doesn't praise Jesus. And so I think we have to respect them too.
I agree. My problem with this is definitely whose religion are you putting upon other people? Because not everyone believes. Before I go to the next part, I want to pull a graphic about a breakdown of the religions, because I think this is very important for us to continue our conversation. So here's a little breakdown of the religions in the world. There's an estimated 4 to 10,000 different religions worldwide, but the 4 largest religions are 31% Christianity, 24% Islam, 15% Hinduism, 7% Buddhism. So we have way more than people are thinking. Now, check this breakdown out. The United States is home to the largest Christian population in the world. United States is 213 million. Brazil, 180.8 million. Philippines, 92.7 million. Ethiopia, 77.5 million. And Nigeria, 74.4 million. Now, some of these actually surprised me. I want to hear in your comments if some of those surprised you too. Christianity, a faith that began nearly 2,000 years ago in the Middle East, is now followed by 2.4 billion people and is the primary religion practiced throughout the Americas, Europe, Oceania, and sub-Saharan Africa. So that gives you a little bit of a perspective when we're talking about this. Now, Minister Connie, you were definitely one who said, yes, you believe that it should be in schools. So I would love to hear your thoughts behind that. Did you grow up with what they now also call the golden rule? We all know the golden rule came from the Bible, but it wasn't pushed that way. Did you grow up with that? And how do you see that as being a benefit?
I definitely grew up in church. My mother didn't go that often, but she sent us every Sunday. And that's a lot of history is in the Bible. I'm going to tell you a really quick story. My son came home and maybe about second or third grade. He was crying because a little Caucasian boy called him Dirt. And when he said, Mom, I was called Dirt. And I said, well, we all come from dirt. And he was startled by that. And I had to take him to the Bible and show him that God created Adam, which is son of the earth, was made from dirt. So that was history that I had to teach him right then and there. Why? Some people don't even know why there's rainbows in the sky. So that's history. You need to learn. So any and everything that has happened should be taught to your children, because where's the origin coming from?
I think that's true too. I mean, I feel like I got a great balance growing up, definitely for sure. Now, Joe, I'm going to ask you, when you came up in the schools, was religion a part of that school, the golden rule?
Not that I recall, nothing that I remember, and it wasn't really heavily pushed in my home. I didn't grow up in a home that was, heavily involved in church. I actually started going to church before any member of my family did, and I was not going for any overwhelming beliefs. It was just a couple of the finest girls I'd ever seen was at that church. So, but whatever gets you in the dough. So I got in the dough, and that inspired my mother to go. So later in her life, she became heavily involved in church, and it became a real big part of her life, to the point where she was, it became a drug problem. She drug us to church on Tuesday. She drug us to church on Thursday. She drug us to church every damn day of the week. But it wasn't a part of my school at all. Like, it was just something that, was at home.
All right. Well, we have a whole lot more to talk about. This is a really deep conversation, and we're going to dig into a little bit more right after this break.
Hey, if you're just tuning in, you are watching Fly Nubian Money, where we help you master your mindset and maximize your money. I am Tiara Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood, and I am the proud producer of this show. So I hope that every day when you join us, you leave a little smarter than you came, because that's the point. Otherwise, why are you watching? So if you want to receive notices for when we go live, Fly Nubian Money goes live every single day. That's Monday through Friday at 1 p.m. to 2 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you don't know, now you know. All you have to do is text the word Queens. That's Queens. That's Queens to 87948. That's 87948. That's Queens to 87948. Yes? If you want.
Jingle, 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 Queens to 87948. Make sure that you do that. You don't want to miss a show, or else you're going to be missing some cool stuff like now. You want to get in on the live part, so that you're not getting in on the replay questions, because you might have something to say live. But all right, get it right now. Go on, take that in there in your little personal assistant. Now, I want to dive back in a little bit. So I'm going to start with you, Marlo. Do you think that schools should teach moral values, or just focus on the academics?
I think if schools are going to teach moral values, it's got to be in the beginning, right? That needs to be those, what they call soft skills. If you look, a lot of times we compare ourselves to the Chinese, right? You see these memes, the Chinese doing this with their kids, right? One of the things that they do intentionally is, up until third grade, kids are taught soft skills, right? So if you're teaching soft skills, if you're teaching kindness, if you're teaching compassion, if you're teaching empathy, all of those things should be what you are getting from a religious-based study anyway, right? Those should be the tenets of any religious-based study, is kindness toward your fellow man. So I think if we focus on soft skills for kids, maybe pre-K to third grade, where they are part of the curriculum is kindness and things like that, I think that we are already covering the part that religion really, in my opinion, should play in our lives, right? As a guide for how we treat one another as we want to be treated. So I think it's a balance, but I think forcing your religion upon anybody, now, y'all know I live in Louisiana, y'all know we ass backwards every day of the week. Our governor pushed this thing to put the 10 commandments in every school. And now that law has actually been struck down, and they're fighting over it in court, right? Don't put books, don't put money into tutoring, don't do any of those things. Spend money to post the 10 commandments in every class. But what about the Muslim population, right? What about the Jewish population? I was raised by the Department of Defense schools when I was in elementary school, and we always were culture sharing, right? The military is a nice cross section of everything in the United States: Muslim, Native American, Hispanic, everybody is in the military. And part of our culture sharing would be to have these exchanges where Jewish students and Hindu students and everybody could share their culture, their food, what their practice is, what their version of Christmas or some type of heritage celebration was. So I think we need to get away from trying to force one religion and having one global world religion, and get back into a mode of sharing and understanding. Because if you really want peace don't come through mine is better than yours, right? Because I just want to say mine is better than yours. Now we just got an argument going. So I think soft skills definitely are what we need for children early. And then we don't have to worry about if we're teaching them Christian values, because we're just teaching them to be good humans.
Yeah.
Good humans. That I have a T-shirt that says "Be a good human," because I really and truly believe in that. I do. I mean, I don't care what you're doing, just be a good human. You know. And that involves a whole lot. That says it's such a simple statement, but it's a deep statement. Tia, what are some? I know you're the one who says maybe not. Could be. So, what are some of the potential benefits that you see of reintroducing church into the state schools?
For everything that Marlo just said about the melting pot that America is, and not wanting to exclude people, although I believe what I believe and I go to church every Sunday, I do believe and respect other people for growing up different ways. Just like I grew up in a Christian home, there are people that grew up in a Jewish home, that grew up in a Muslim home. They can't help it. That's just what they grew up with. And not saying it's wrong or it's right, right? So just to encourage like a melting pot and I would say that that encourages like spirituality, over just one thing being the right thing. Just like spirituality in the sense of what, like feeding your spirit. Like Marlo said, a lot of what she said about being a good person, being kind, being compassionate. And I think there are things from every religion that tell us like, don't steal, don't kill, don't, those 10 commandments are basically like just telling you like not to harm others and to be a good person. Like I said, I was able to study a lot of the principles of other religions that basically say the same thing. There are so many things that I took from like Buddhists about like meditation and relaxation, and there was things I was able to steal from other places, and I started to meditate years ago, like just sitting and being quiet, things that I didn't learn from Christianity, but I was able to learn from other people. And not that, and hopefully, God who loves us all doesn't judge me like, oh, you used to meditate, that ain't right. Hopefully it's a good thing. So it brings me peace.
It's interesting that you brought that up, because I grew up Baptist. And there is a section, you always had your order of service. Now you got your order of service every Sunday, yes. Right? And yes. Part of that was prayer and meditation, right? And they put that all in the same little thing. So the minister would pray, but meditation was like, amen. It was never, it never went into being quiet for a moment. It was just prayer. All right, amen. Close your eyes. Okay, open back up. We go ready for the next song. So it's each religion is different in that and let's not forget, there are different branches of the same religion. You have the Baptist, you have the Catholic, you have the Episcopals, you have everything, right? It's all underneath there. The Pentecostals and the Episcopals. I mean, the Black community, you definitely got them all mixed up, right? So, it's all the same thing of Jesus and God, but it's still a branch of that too. So we have to take that into consideration. So, Minister Connie, I wanted to ask you this question, because I think we're seeing this back and forth in our conversations our family is putting in our comments. if religion is allowed back in schools with the 10 commandments and the things that they want to use from the Bible, then do you believe that all religions should be respected as well, or should they just have this one religion and everyone must follow what they're saying of that principle?
I believe whatever religion that your family has or they are, it should be respected. I was in a mixed school, and so we learned different. We had Muslim, we had Jewish people, so just like you did, and we celebrated. The teachers would help us to respect their religion, and we would learn about it and celebrate it. So I think that's important, and not one religion should be pushed on a child. But I do know that the Ten Commandments, it should be taught in the schools because our young people is killing each other. Thou shalt not kill. That should be, and a lot of them don't even know that that is a commandment of God. So therefore, and I'm pretty sure that's in every religion. So therefore, being respected and having good morals, you don't kill your fellow man because that's the image of God. We are in the creation and we're the image of God. So why kill each other? They should learn that. Thou shalt not steal. Thou shalt respect your parents. I was outside one day and this young girl was cussing her parents out, her father and her mother. So some of these things need to be taught because some of it is never taught in the home because everybody do not go to church. People don't have good morals. So these things need to be taught. And that's my opinion.
And I think that there is what I call the gray area of where we are right now. I'm 54. And so many of us are right around in between our 30s and our 50s, right? So my parents grew up a certain way. And then you have the parents, our grandparents grew up a certain way. Then our parents were the ones who typically went to school and we became the latchkey kids and all this stuff. And, then it seems like there was a lull during that period where their parents, they were doing the opposite of what their parents was. So now we're in this lull. We're in this gray part where we could or could not have had that issue growing up. And now we seem like we're going all the way back over to the right. So Joe, can faith-based values help address societal issues like we've talked about crime and bullying and violence in school? Do you think that teaching this faith in the school is going to address these things with our kids?
I don't believe so, and only because, like, if you give the autonomy to say, okay, we are going to enforce, like Minister Connie said, the 10 Commandments on school, and then the same government and community that advocates for the 10 Commandments still advocates for the death penalty. So, like, it's very confusing and contradictory, like in a lot of different ways. And sometimes people use Christianity or views from the Bible and twist it and turn them. So we don't have the right people in place to enforce these things. Now, if you're gonna, are you gonna make Minister Connie the education secretary of education? That's somebody I can look at and trust and know that she's going to do the right things. But we're never going to have the right people. Like, I think right now, do we got like the WWE?
We got the WWE chick.
So that's who you want enforcing, Christianity on your children. I don't think that's what you want. There's plenty of money also in the Christian community as well. Like, I wouldn't be opposed to, and some churches do build your own schools. And if people want their kids to be influenced by that, then they should attend those schools. But as somebody who's been an educator, I sat down with a Muslim girl. I sat down with a Jewish girl, and I got my information from them and understood the things that they were dealing with, and asking me or any other teacher to push whatever beliefs that the government believes should be pushed upon them. That's just oppression.
I agree, but we also need to address the fact that with this new change over in administration, this was a part of their agenda, and it's also a part of Project 2025, what we've talked about a lot. And let's not forget, I don't know what state was it, Alabama, that decided they were going to put a Bible in every classroom, but the requirements were that it had to have the Bill of Rights, the Pledge of Allegiance, Oklahoma, and all those other things in this Bible, which were never done before. So I think we're seeing a huge shift toward Christian nationalism. This is a little more than what we're just talking about surface. So if the states have this power, how are we as a community in our states going to stand up against this or ask for certain rights to be developed? And we still have so much more to talk about, but we're going to take a deep breath and we'll be right back.
You want to grow your money and not blow your money, as Constance says, check us out at flynubianmoney.com. There's all kinds of resources, programs, videos, resources. In 2024, there's no reason to be broke when there's information all around us. So get your money right. flynubianmoney.com.
Get your money right. flynubian.com. Now see, notice that all of those have a little bit of a jingle in them. You know, you be singing it when we get off. Y'all better go on over there and get your free resources, because we've got a lot of things there to help you get your money right and money tight. And you know, we got a new year coming up. So, but you don't have to wait to the new year. Don't be one of those people who just want to have a new resolution. Start now. We've got resources for you here, flynubianmoney.com. So please make sure that you go there and check out the resources that we have. So Tiara, do you think that with this pushing of this, should we also allow the religious symbols? Now, one of the symbols is the 10 Commandments, but I'm talking about like crosses and things like that. Or should we also incorporate prayer into the public schools now?
You know, I guess this is where it gets a little murky. This is like them asking me to stand up. I mean, at this point, I don't even stand up when we pledge allegiance, or when they, before games, when they have you stand up and they sing or whatever. I sit down. I literally remember my daughter was like, "Stand up, Mom." We were at a school function. I was like, "I ain't." It was around the time. It was around the time when Kaepernick was like, we were going through the whole NFL thing. I was like, "I'm not standing." She was like, "Oh my God." She was, so I just think that there is a line that should be drawn. Because again, what are we saying in those prayers? Is it "Our Father who art in heaven"? Like, what if you don't believe that? And I think, the interesting thing about, and what I was going to say earlier, or what I wanted to say when you were talking, Lala, or to add on to what you were saying, is that, America, the foundation of America, when we talk about starting to put books into schools, and, it's really like, what are you pushing? What are you saying? Because they use those same words in the Bible to uphold slavery. The foundation, I remember I was listening to Dr. Claude Anderson, and he said that in the beginning, when they were after the slaves were freed, they went out and talked to the Black pastors and told them to or actually during the time of slavery as well, to encourage them and encourage the slaves that they'll get their reward when they die. That joy will come in the morning after they die, though. That you will see your reward. That's why we have all of those hymns that say, like, when you die, you'll see the king and he'll give you jewels after life. We still have those same messages now. Those started, centuries ago at this point. So it's just like, what's being pushed, and what have we been programmed to believe, and what are they going to what are they trying to do? Because with America, you can't really trust the government, because they're always trying to push an agenda. It's not genuine. We're not talking about Minister Carney just saying, "Listen, I don't want you guys to kill each other. I want you all to take care of each other and be good human beings." America just ain't that thorough. They ain't that trustworthy. That's not what they saying. They saying something else. What are they saying? What are you saying?
And what are they saying to our kids? Like,
Yes.
Me personally, now my son is grown, but I have concern about, what are you teaching my child when he's not in front of me? Is that something that I agree with or not?
Mm-hmm.
Like you say, you could push the slavery thing. That's not what I want to teach my child. I want to teach him the right thing, that this wasn't right. This shouldn't have never happened. And they're trying to erase that history. But with this, we can see other issues that can arise within children themselves, because kids can be mean. Okay, let's just be really brutal. Kids can be mean. So what they experience in their home and what they hear their parents telling them indoctrinates them as well in their heart, right? So, Minister Connie, what kind of potential risks do you see of mixing religion with public education when we have so many religions that are being celebrated?
The reason why all these religions came about is because they were in disagreement with religion, Christ. With what Jesus was teaching, and he was just teaching about the kingdom of God. He wasn't teaching about a religion. He was teaching about the kingdom of God, plain and simple. So because of disagreements of different things that they were hearing, all these religion has came about. But wherever there is darkness, there is light. So there's a lot of darkness in our schools. If we want light, we need to bring some light in, and that's teaching things about good character, good morals, about God, because God changes the heart of a person. And I know, because before I accepted him in my life, I did all kind of things, but then I had a conscience that I did not do those things anymore. So therefore, we really have to be careful. My stepdaughter, she was in 8th grade. She had so many problems in high school. She was fighting, she was cussing, she was running after boys. So I told my ex-husband that we need to put her in a Christian private school. We did. From 9th grade to 12th grade, we had no problems. So therefore, you got to look at some things to say, okay, what is the problem here? Also, have you ever heard of a lot of mass killings in Christian schools? No, there was one that I researched it. I haven't seen anything but one, and that was a 28-year-old transgender person came in and shot 6 people, 3 kids, 9 years old, and 3 teachers. Now, they said he used to go there. We don't know. But, you see all these kids that's wearing Gothic things because there's a lot of darkness in these high schools. So we got to think about a lot of things like that. I don't think that, going to a Christian university and getting my theology degree, we didn't have all those problems. You have a good, you come, you learn, and you respect one another. You don't call each other stupid. You don't, you just it's a lot of respect.
It doesn't
It is,
hurt.
but there's one thing I'm sorry. Did you want to say something?
I was just about to say it doesn't hurt. It doesn't hurt. The presence of a good message does not hurt.
Well, I'm going to throw a cog in this wheel, okay? Because we are talking about different religions. And what about those who don't serve a religion? We are talking about atheists. Or what if we are talking about a religion that most people cringe at, the Church of Satanism? We have to think about these things, because those people are included in these schools as well, right? So how do we address this for those who are non-believers or people perceive as an evil religion? How do we incorporate those? So Joe, I want to ask you, I want to tie this into this question, because there's so many what ifs. We talk about darkness, but who is saying it's dark, right?
Who's dark?
So how do you think the teachers, because you have an educational background, how do you think the teacher's role would change if religion were reintroduced into schools, knowing that there are other factors involved, just the religions that we accept?
Yeah. Teachers are already in way over their head. You got people teaching things that they don't really know about for real and just going off curriculum. So this right here it comes from a personal place. So whether I agree with what Minister Connie is saying or not, you don't have the talent to teach it. Like like I keep telling, like you have to have the people that you actually trust to push these beliefs. So how does the teacher's role change? It doesn't. It's just one more thing that that they don't necessarily want to do, that they're gonna have to do. And then these things, these values are important. The values, especially that, Tierra and Minister Connie are talking about, are important. But if they're being pushed by a heathen, how how effective is that? How effective is that? That's what I'm trying to say. Like when you introducing it in the public schools, you don't have the talent. You do not have the talent or quality of human to teach and enforce these values. You just don't. And it's not necessarily what I'm opposing the beliefs or the values. It's just I know enough about being inside a school system, and Marlo would tell you too. You just don't have the quality and talent of human to push it. Period. And it's gonna come out all bad, all bad.
Our poor teachers are being asked to do absolutely everything with our children, and we're not paying them. I've always thought that it is completely unfair that we send our children to school and we expect these teachers to be the parent, the teacher, the psychologist, now you're asking them to be the minister type of role, and you're not paying these people. Okay, these people are the ones who the teachers need more therapy than anybody, but yet you want to pay entertainers thousands and thousands and millions of dollars, but you don't want to pay those who are influencing our children or have a big part of their lives. So I think that this is going to add more pressure on them as well. And how that's going to be handled, I don't know, because everything seems to be changing so rapidly. Marlo, so with that being said, what would be the first step that you see would be a good start in the conversation to bring church or faith back into the schools?
I think it's individual, right? I think that a teacher, with a good heart, somebody we pointed out Minister Connie so many times in our conversation today, right? A person that's within the school that has a good heart with no agenda. How do we know that, right? That would be the starting point for that person to bring kids together. Honestly, I would like for it to be inclusive, right? Not exclusive to Jesus, not exclusive to the Old Testament, but about God, right? About the creator of all the marvels in the world, including the terrible humans that he made. I think that it starts very small. I think somebody in the comments said, start off small, right? Very small, 1 to 2 minutes of silent prayer, right? That way, whoever you pray to, you can pray to that God without any judgment, right? Because we talked about bullying earlier this week. Nobody bullies harder, sorry, Minister Connie, than some of the religious people, right? People who feel like they are right, people who feel like they are on the path to righteousness are often the ones that look most harshly at others. So I think allowing kids to form that individually, and then having a club where they can express, where they can question, where they can wonder, where they can explore and learn about other religions, and just, again, God in general as the creator of all things, not the doctrine that man has set aside, right, to group and separate us, but the actual, the same God that created all the 5 of us on this panel today, created the grass and the skies and the fish and everything, like talking about that. I think that would be a solution. I think most parents will welcome that. But I think that when you get the literature and it's got a cross on it, and we about to talk about my Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ, then I think people are like, nope, we're not doing that, right? Because we also see the fallen man so much through the Christian faith, right? We see preachers falling. Jerry Falwell, speaking of falling, right, had the nasty stuff going on with the Cabana Boy, but the kids that go to Liberty University can't engage in premarital sex. They find out you having premarital sex, they find out you drinking, you get kicked out. Jerry Falwell and his wife were doing nasty cuckold things with the Cabana Boy, drinking, drugging, doing everything that the children or the students at Liberty University would get kicked the F out of school for doing, and they doing all of it. So I think that slow and go would be the best route, but also an individual basis. Don't force it on my kids, because I'm coming to the school board meeting and cutting the F up.
I agree, but once again, we're not thinking about even those moments of silence for the people who don't believe or who are raised with no religion? What do we say to them? These are just things that I'm throwing out to you to just think about, because when we think about things, we tend to stay in a box, and we need to also think a little bit outside of the box, because not everyone believes in religion and not everyone is teaching their children religion. And we have to start really thinking about this now, because it is here. It's here for us to discuss. Things are changing fast. And as soon as January 20th happens, we're going to see a whole lot of other things that may be coming so rapidly that we can't pay attention to them all. I always like to say we're playing dodgeball with 1,000 balls. One of them's going to hit us, but we can't control all of them. But we're going to take a deep breath, because we still have more to say. We'll be right back.
Fly Nubian Money is now on Spotify. Yes, yes, yes. We are on Spotify. So if you can't watch us, you can listen to us. All you have to do is search Fly Nubian Money and we will appear. All of our episodes. Make sure that you leave a 5-star rating and review, so other people that come along and are looking for a good show to watch, they'll follow us too. If you are interested in being on Fly Nubian Money, sorry, I don't have any spaces. I'm just playing. If you are interested in being a queen or a king on Fly Nubian Money for the day, please reach out to me. I'm at info@realvirtual.net. That's info@realvirtual.net. Also, if you need help with your business, go ahead and send me an email for that too. Okay. I've said enough. Now back to the show.
You know what I love? We do all the things. We do all the things here. We educate you, we entertain you, we get your mental wheels going, but you also have a voice on this channel as well. So where else are you going to get that? We're inviting you. We're inviting you to come into our space and have these conversations with us. So make sure that you email us at info@realvirtual.net. And don't forget, we can help you with your business. We got so many wonderful things going on here. You know that's why you love us. We do all the things. So make sure that you email us, especially if you want to be on the panel, because we are totally open to it. Now, I want to take a little bit of a turn, because we do talk about money and we talk about money in our communities. But I also see this as tied into financial issues, okay? Especially if now all of a sudden these schools are going to be requiring that Bibles be put into the class. Now, this is being done with state money. So, Tiara, you have a school age child. So do you think that this is a part of your tax money that you would be okay with using in schools, public schools?
My school age child is here at the house. She is independently, just because of the things that were happening in the schools. The reason the trash that's happening in public schools, it's a little too liberal. If I'm being honest, I feel like, especially in California, things are a little too liberal for me, in a sense where anything can go, which makes me say, like, man, we need some type of structure. We need some type of religion, or some type of like moral compass to counteract this liberal anything can go, and so I often swing. Oh Jesus, oh Jesus, I feel like it's a see. Oh Jesus, see, the devil is see, like, oh Jesus.
We're
All
talking
right,
about
y'all.
Jesus now. Come
Touch and
on, baby
agree.
Jesus.
Touch and agree.
Listen, touch and agree. Amen. Hallelujah. All right. So there's a there's a see, I can't even get my thoughts together, but there is like we're so far on each spectrum that I try to find like my center is at home. So to answer that question, my money ain't. I mean, I would like to see us find a balance. And I think that's why, so if I'm being honest, and I don't want to introduce politics to this conversation because we'll go on and on, but I think that's why people tended to go in a Trump direction, because the promise looks like we're taking you from this liberalism and going back to some sort of structure in the school system and adding some values, some hardcore I don't know, just adding some of that back to the surface. So, to answer your question, I just think that for me, it's tough. I think we need it, but I think we need it in a way that's inclusive. You've really given me some things to think about in terms of like also considering atheists, because you know what, I had atheist neighbors, and my whole Christian behind bumping Jesus music, they can hear it through the walls, and they still come over if I'm, let's say they see me sick or something, and ask me if I need anything. So these are people just like I'm a person. Like, they're not over there worshiping Satan and all of that. They just happen not to believe what I believe. And so I just think that's interesting.
It is interesting. I had a good friend from elementary school. She's no longer with us. She struggled a lot, but in life, mentally. But she was an atheist, and I never will forget. I was always a little bit curious to know that whenever something would happen, or something would happen with her boys, or and they were good kids, but she would just say, "Hey, can you do that thing that you do, please?" And what she meant was pray. Like, can you do that thing that you do? Because I'm gonna need all the good juju I need. So at some point you think to yourself, if you're asking me to do that, what is it that's really in your spirit that's asking me to do that? But I don't think that she was influenced by that. I just think that she saw, Lord, please don't let me cry because this really means something to me. I think she saw the light of Christ in me, and that made her curious. And that is my goal of life, is to shine that light. I don't have to bang Jesus down your throat. I don't have to. If you see that I have that light in me, then you're going to ask me, what are you doing? Right? So I wonder if that is something that we can incorporate into our plans for what they're doing with the schools. Because after all, when you boil it all down, guys, anyone who does believe, I don't care if you call God Allah, I don't care if you call him God, I don't care if you call him your creator, I don't care if you call him the master of all. It's still the same energy of love. And that to me is what's important. But I do have concern about how people are paying into the schools and how this is going to look for our tax dollars. And Joe, do you think that is something that we should be like, okay, well, I don't personally like pizza, but of course they're going to feed the kids pizza at school. But how can you say that with religion too? Well, I don't necessarily believe in this religion, but okay, my tax dollars are still going toward this. Do you think that that's going to be a problem in the educational system?
It's already a problem, right? Like, just like Tierra, my school age, I'm looking right at my school age child. He's sitting on his couch, eating his little fries, and and why? Because I can't even trust him to teach him his own history. I live in Texas, right? Which the positive part of that is that it's really relaxed as far as your homeschooling regulations. So we can figure out whatever we need to figure out. So I can't. It's a problem already. I can't get behind that. But now, if they were to do something like I don't know what, teach maybe theology, so every religion gets taught, and gets understood for, well, we believe this and we believe that, and the history of our culture is this, and we can understand each other, because like the point you just made, Lala, it's all, the baseline of it all is love. You know what I mean? And anybody that is teaching something outside of that is not really of that. They're just trying to manipulate it to, again, be oppressive. So anything that's outside of love is garbage. And we can move that out and get people to understand, because like I said, when I sat in school, I learned what I learned from my students. I learned from my Jewish student. I learned from my Muslim student. I understood, I talked to the young girl about the hijab and how, what it meant to her, and all the things that I got from that information. That'd be good to share in classrooms. But like I said, you got to have the talent. You got to have the talent, because anything outside of, love is just foolishness.
Is it white Jesus? Is it white Jesus that we learning, or is he brown skin?
Right.
Is he? I mean, like, what are we? You know what I mean? Because right, that's the brown Jesus. The Jesus had, hair like wool. Like, I need to
Yes.
see a Jesus that got dreads. Like, I just need to see a different version of of religion. It can't be what the slave masters taught the slaves.
I agree with that. And it's one of the reasons I decided to learn how to create my own products for our communities, because our communities don't see this. Every time you go into the stores for Christmas or whatever, if you even see Jesus in the nativity, you don't see it in any brown color tones at all. And right now my main complaint is I don't see Jesus nowhere. Like, if I'm looking for a religious ornament for my tree, I can't find it. So, we have so many issues surrounding this that go outside of what they're just trying to say needs to be happening in the school. What are we really pushing in this agenda? And is it for the right reason? Well, we're still not finished. We still got extra thoughts, but we're going to take a short break. We'll be right back. We got a special announcement. We're claiming it. 2025 is your year for home ownership, and we are going to get you to that goal. Who's we? Fly Nubian Money Club and me, Laura Lala Key, international real estate agent, and we have a wonderful session for you about how to get you started on the path to home ownership. We'll cover the steps. We'll answer a lot of the questions that most people have, because when you are educated about this process, it makes it more fun and a little easier than if you step into it without knowing anything. I can't wait to spend some time with you to get your juices flowing and to get the excitement flowing, because 2025 is your year. Make sure that you come to this class and you invite someone else, because it really is important to own your own piece of land. I look forward to seeing you. Bye. And I do. I really look forward to seeing you, because this is one of my favorite things to do. It is nothing more exciting to me than to teach you what you can expect for buying a home. And then guess what? When I'm handing you the keys, heaven, because you own a piece of land, and that is your first step to financial wealth. So you want to make sure that you come and join us at our awesome Fly Nubian Money Club.com.
Yay!
Oh, now I know.
December 7th. December 7th.
December 7th. So don't miss it. Don't miss it. And bring somebody. If you love somebody, you want to see them succeed too, bring them on, because this is what we do. We don't keep things to ourselves. We share. All right. So, Minister Connie, do you think it's possible to create a moral framework in schools that doesn't lean on religious teachings?
Oh, sure. Just like I heard someone say, I can't remember who said it, if it was Tara or someone else, that just the time of meditation. I know in jails they have chaplains in jails for people to come and talk to about different things. So maybe if the school's going to do it, maybe they could have a chaplain to come in, or if they will have someone from the community church to come in. So there's other creative ways to do it, instead of depending on the teachers to do it, or someone that has not studied or know anything about it. Because me being a minister, I have empathy for people, and I don't push religion on anybody, because that's not what we're supposed to do. So therefore, people tell me, "Oh, you're a minister?" Yes, I am a minister, but the thing is that I'm not pushing what my beliefs are on you. I'm letting you be open and be who you are, because the thing is, God never made us be, he never made us be, he never controlled us at all. He never put any restraints on us, control us. We have a free will. And so therefore, being a free will person, I'm going to accept you as you are. I have a lot of people that are, they have another kind of lifestyle. Love me. I love
Heathens.
them. That's right. Huh?
Heathens.
Heathens. Yeah, I have them in my family too. So definitely. So the thing is that, we are not supposed to push nothing on anybody. It's a free will. So therefore, that's what I believe. That's what God believes, and I'm going to stick to what He has taught me to accept people. You know, He said, do not put your opinions or get the mote out of your eye before you try to get it out of somebody else's eye. So therefore, that means that you don't put no judgment on them, because the same measure that you judge that person, you're going to be judged by him. And so therefore, I don't want to do that. So I am very open to what people are, who they are. That's for God to deal with them on that, or whatever they're doing. That's His business.
And I'm tell you what, I'm the one who has to answer to God at the pearly gates. I can't answer for anyone else. So I always think about that. And I also think, for me, I am a Christian, that I always think that Christ has left a blueprint for us. And it's an easy blueprint. We just keep on messing it up. And if we just follow that simple blueprint, you will find that all of the answers that we've asked today, the answers are in the blueprint. It's just so easy, for us to follow, but yet we want to make it so difficult. I want to address a couple of the comments, and we've had a lot of comments. I am not ignoring y'all, guys. This has just been such a great conversation. Juvenile says, morals and values must be the standard etiquette. Has nothing to do with the religion. That's personal. Morals and values can be taught from a universal perspective, kindness and love. And Michelle says religion is of God, not Satan. And it's because I mentioned that there's also a church of Satan. So we still have to think of that. And guys, they are really being way more vocal now. Don't forget, at Christmas, they also want equal time with the nativity. And especially in California, Santa Monica has a lot of problems with that nativity every year. So how are we going to, if we can't address this out in a public setting, how are we going to address this within the schools? This has been such an interesting topic. We could probably go on for hours and hours about this, but it is time for us to kind of wind down a little bit. So I'm going to ask for everyone's final thoughts, and then we are going to find out where we can find you. But you have a homework, guys. You have a homework. And when I say where we can find everybody, that's your assignment, to go and find everyone who is telling you where you can get to them, because we all have something of value for you. So make sure that you go and follow everyone on this panel. I'm going to start with you, Marlo. What are your final thoughts, and where can we find you?
So my final thought is, I put my son in a private Catholic school at the beginning of high school. And what he learned was to question religion, right? And I'll never forget one holiday we were all cooking, and he made the announcement in front of my very religious mother and former mother-in-law that he was agnostic, and they did not understand what was going on. And that was the first foray into my parenting, and they were like, and eventually they understood, right? Because he had gone to this school, he had gotten this education in the school. They encouraged them through the religious courses, like Tiara explained, to question, right? Why? And he started teaching me the Bible, right? He started to really help me to understand this book that I had been getting verse. He helped me understand it, right? My son. And so in that, I learned that religion is really about you. It's about your heart. It's about your heart for people, how you treat people. It's not really about the doctrine that is in the book as much as it is about the relationship between you and the Creator. And so now, no religion, no church and state for me. I'm still in the same place. But now, I go and I get my readings. I have African spiritualists that help me, guide me through life. They help me with mind clarity and everything. So just find a guiding light, whatever that is. Even if you find it in the Church of Satan. I met some Satanists. They want to eat me for lunch, so they cool with me. They didn't impose anything on me, right? I've interviewed some of everybody through my work. So I think that no public money for religious study in school, not my public money anyway. Let somebody else do that, do private clubs and things of that nature. But come to these moral understandings as a family. Decide what the morals and the norms are within your family and try to move forward without doing harm. My friend is having the bugs and the gremlins are all in her stream. Avoid the bugs and the gremlins in your walk with humanity and be a good person, y'all. Just be good. Teach your children to be good. Love people. Try to do a good thing without recording it with your little phone device, right? Let's love each other. That's my final thought. Let us be love. And you can find me on the internet. I write and create content under my name, Marlo Layson. You can also find me on Instagram. I'm Aura Marlo. And if you want to get extra spicy and follow me to the Black Blue Sky, you may do that. I am Lo McLeod on that platform.
Awesome. Please make sure that you go and check her out. She is doing lots of good things and I love her accounts. I tell you, everybody, I stalk everybody. All right, Joe, where can we find you and what are your final thoughts?
I'll tell you, I'll start with where you can find me. You can type in Joe Corley in all platforms, J Corley80 on Instagram, or you can find me on my website, realuconsulting.com. Listen, all I got to say is that be who you are, right? Be who you are. The minute you start trying to impress upon someone else your beliefs, you've already lost. You're going to stress yourself out. You're going to erode that relationship, and that's just not the way. Everybody, you also have the right to stand on what you believe and follow whatever beliefs you want to follow. That's totally up to you. But at the end of the day, we just got to all be really good at being humans. And if we want to impress that upon our kids, we have to get the people in place to do it. We have to bring more value to the teaching position, pay that position more, and get the talent in there that we need in order to make these people who we want them to be, which is good humans. And if you want to get the young men in the church, the only strategy is to lead those ladies, lead those girls in the church, and you will pack the house. Every boy will be in there swaying with choir robes on, singing soprano, whatever you want to do. That's the only way. Get the girls.
Oh, I'm ashamed to say my first boyfriend, I met him in church.
I love it. Yes. Yes.
And I don't think that turned out very well. Okay, Minister
I love what Joe just said. Exactly. Proverbs 22:4 says, train up a child or direct a child the way they should go. And then when they are old, they will not depart. So we need to train up our children to be good people and to accept one another. One thing that I believe that happens with people, we don't understand each other. So we are afraid of what we don't understand. So therefore, just accept people for who they are, love them, and just be a good person. But that is so true. If a young man is interested in a young girl, he will come to church. I'm gonna tell my pastor that. Hey, that's how we're gonna get the guys in here. Just get a program for dating for young kids. Exactly. I love it.
Where can we find you, Minister Connie?
Oh, you can find me at ConnieSpearman.com. And I do have a book. It's called Lord, I Hear You. And it's a great book about God. So look me up.
Go get it. Go get it now. You know you want to read it. You know you want to read it. Okay, Tiara, what are your final thoughts and where can we find you?
Oh, we've mentioned so many things. I think that I'm still in the middle on this topic, even after talking about it. I think I'm still living in the middle. I just want us to find a middle ground between all of the things, right? If we let's not sway too hard to the right or the left, but just stay right in the middle. And so I feel like with religion, when we're talking about putting religion back into schools, it kind of gives me the heebie-jeebies only because I know that religion was created there was a element of it created to control, at least the foundation of America anyway, right? I know that I can't trust America. I think she's a liar, right? I don't think she has the right agenda. I don't think that she is pushing the love that we've all been talking about in this episode. Like when you just take I just want y'all to know, like, they've been preaching all hour the foundation of religion, and really God is love. God is love. Agape is love. God is love. And so if we could all figure out how to love one another or teach your children just the basics of loving and being a good human being, we've been saying that same thing, I think we'll get the same result. One thing, when I started to see my daughter go astray, I dragged her right to Erica Campbell and Pastor Warren Campbell's church, where we sit every Sunday. I love them. I love what they've done for her. I mean, every week she's like, "Oh, that was really good. Oh, this is what I learned. Oh, this is really good." So I love that. Putting her around other kids that are her age that love God, not necessarily just that love God and that are on fire for good things. And so that I would say that has been my strategy. Take it or leave it. I love you anyway. My name is Tierra Williams. I'm also known as Miss Black Hollywood. That's MSBLECK Hollywood. I am that across all platforms. Also, as Lala has mentioned, that we have created a Fly Nubian Money Club. I want to get you, whether you want to start a business, launch a side hustle, or just grow your money. I want to help you do that. I am committed to helping you do that by bringing top experts into every other week, and creating a resource spot that'll get you loopholes and help you understand what's going on with your money. So that's what we are doing at the Fly Nubian Money Club. Please register at flynubianmoneyclub.com right now, and I'll see you in training. I'll see you in training December 7th. Lala will be there. Lala will be la 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 la. Am I pointing at you, La? Lala will be there.
Yes, I will, with bells on. So listen, guys, we've had a lot of things that we've discussed, but here's my final thoughts. America, you in trouble, girl. The implied beliefs that once made you great are now the chains that could bring you down. Forced religion doesn't inspire faith. It breeds oppression and hardened hearts. The Christ I believe in would not recognize the actions done in his name. They stand against his teachings of love, liberty, and grace. This country was meant to be a melting pot, but instead it's fractured by the imposition of a narrow, oppressive vision. True freedom means the right to choose your path or not to choose one at all. You cannot chain the spirit of liberty, because the human spirit of those you're trying to chain is going to fight back. So for me, I choose to shine the light of love and freedom so others may see the path they're meant to walk. And I will fight so that they can decide for themselves how they want to live this precious life. So I'm going to let freedom ring that way and shine my light. You can find me at bit.ly/Laura Key Info. I have lots of free resources for you there, but I'm most excited to tag on to Tierra. You're going to see me on December 7th. I can't wait to help you take your journey into home ownership. I'm so excited about that. Now, listen, we've given you lots of things to think about. You have given us a lot of things to think about. We really appreciate you being here, and we don't take that lightly. Because honestly, you could really be spending your time somewhere else, but you chose to spend it with us today. And we don't take that for granted. So thank you for being here. Thank you for your comments. Thank you for your thoughts and everything. But guess what? We also have homework for you. So don't forget to go to flynubianmoney.com so that you can get your free resources on helping to get your money right and your money tight. You also want to subscribe to us on Spotify. Hey, if you can't get us live, you better take us on that run and then those errands. Go on over there and find us on Spotify. You also want to make sure that you text the word Queens, QUEENS, to 87948 so that you don't miss a show. Also, if you want to be a part of the show, or you also want to advertise with us. Yeah, you know your audience is us, right? So go ahead and email us at info@realvirtual.net to get your business seen. We go live 5 days a week on many different channels, and your business can be seen on those channels too. The world is looking for you. You're looking for them, and they're looking for you. So why not do it with us? So when you do that, please make sure that you put in the subject line, Fly Nubian Money ad, so that you can get the ad rates and we can send those to you immediately. Now, I've given you lots of homework, but here's what I do want to leave you with, because that it says Friday. Listen, you got a life to live. You got one life. You might as well ride it screaming, right? You get one time around. So let's make sure that we love one another and we support one another, and we also look to take care of ourselves. We will see you on Monday, 1 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. Y'all be blessed and have a great weekend. Bye.